Hello, I'm Kristen Grace McGarry, and I am a holistic and integrative healthcare provider. I'm known as a health and lifestyle alchemist. I am a speaker and an author, and I have 2 books, and I just finished my 3rd, so I'm very excited by that. And the first book is called Holistic Keto for Gut Health, a program for resetting your metabolism. And it ties into the topic that I am sharing about today. And that topic is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting seems to be all the rave in social media, and there are some good reasons for it. So I want to share a little bit about the science behind intermittent fasting and also some of my own personal experience. And I just got off of the phone with a new friend of mine from my Qigong group who had some other great experiences he was able to share with me around his intermittent fasting journey. And so I'd like to empower you with really cool information today, because in this pandemic around the COVID virus, many of us are focusing on our immune systems and how do we boost immunity. And is intermittent fasting an effective way to do that? So I'm going to address that and more things today around fasting. So first of all, intermittent fasting means that for certain hours of the day, you are not eating, but hopefully you're drinking plenty of water. When you do this calorie reduction or elimination, it has huge impact on many systems of your body. So I'm going to get into that in just a minute. So intermittent fasting is taking these times during your day where you're not eating anything. And there are a couple of different ratios that if you do any Google searching, you'll come across. One is the 16/8 ratio. That means for 16 hours a day, you're not eating anything, but you're drinking plenty of spring water. And for 8 hours of the day, you can eat. So that's the 16/8 ratio for intermittent fasting, but there's more. There's an 18/6 ratio. So for 18 hours of the day, you eat nothing. And then for 6 hours is when you do your eating. But it can also go to 20/4. So 20 hours of the day you don't eat, and you eat your calories in just 4 hours. There's other kinds of intermittent fasting as well. Some people will choose to do intermittent fasting for a full 24 hours, and they'll do it maybe 2 times a week. That's another way. There's also extended water fasts. So one of my Qigong teachers recently finished a fast. Another Qigong brother I just spoke with finished a fast, and they did as long as 17, 20, 30, or 40 day on only water and electrolytes. Now, this is not for everyone. I love having an individualized approach. So many people can do an extended fast, and certain people it would not be a good fit. As I individualize things with my own patients and my own body, I find that having a certain constitution, having a little extra body weight, being a little stockier, having a certain kind of metabolism, if you have certain kinds of insulin resistance or hypoglycemia or reactive hypoglycemia, where your blood sugar may be up and down and it's not stable, that combined with other constitutional factors may not be a good fit for long-term intermittent fasting. So it really takes an individualized approach to look at what's your lifestyle like. If you're an endurance athlete and you're currently training for a huge event, it's probably not a good time to do intermittent fasting. So to take into consideration what's your workout program like. If you have a major project that you're working on at work, it may not be the best time to do a long-term fast. So really look at your own life, and then please reach out to me. I'm here. I'd love to be a resource for you to help you individualize this through your labs, through your lifestyle, through what your physical goals, health goals are, so that we can discover if intermittent fasting is right for you. So before I list all of the incredible benefits of intermittent fasting, I'd like to share a little bit about my own experience. Hi, Layla. How's it going? Good to see you. Leah, good to see you. Hello. I want to share a little bit on my own experience. So I was a competitive bodybuilder and an endurance athlete for many, many years. And in that journey, I learned a lot about nutrition. And then in Asian medical school, I also learned a ton about nutrition. And I had done lots of different nutritional plans, a lot of caloric restrictions where I was only on 500 or 600 calories a day for a body, as I prepared for a bodybuilding show. And yet I was working out, probably training for 3 hours a day. So for me, I was doing a kind of fast or caloric restriction, but not a sole water fast. And it did have really incredible benefit to my body, but there was also some downsides I want to share with you that were coming up for me. So as I grew in my athleticism and also in my nutritional training, and got some genetic testing done, and my body changed a bit, I started to fine-tune my fasting and listen to my body in a different way. And this is something I want to empower all of you with. Hey, Chris, good to see you. I want to empower all of you with individualizing this for yourself, learning to listen to your body in a totally new way. And in an upcoming segment, Facebook Live, I'm going to talk to you about listening to your body in a lot of different ways. But right now, paying attention to what your body is saying. If you have symptoms of inflammation, if you have symptoms of immune dysfunction, that could be allergies, seasonal allergies, food sensitivities, autoimmune issues. If you have a full-blown autoimmune disease, if you have extra weight on your body that you're carrying around, if a healthcare provider has told you that you may be insulin resistant, these are all things that may be a good sign that you would benefit from intermittent fasting. And there's more. If you notice that you're a binge eater, if you notice that your habits around food may be off balance and not really serving your higher self, then intermittent fasting could help set the reset button, could help push the reset button. So if you're noticing in your physical body that you have high cholesterol on your labs and you're noticing you don't quite feel yourself, maybe your immune system's a little down, you're stressed out, and now here you are at home and you have a lot more stability and control over your home environment, it might be a great time to consider intermittent fasting. And so when you're considering intermittent fasting, you're going to take into consideration your physical body structure, also your thought patterns and your relationship to food and self-sustenance, self-nurturing. And you're going to take into consideration your biochemistry, what's going on inside your body. Do you have very, very chronically low blood sugar or not? So we're going to look at the whole picture and then set it up so that you can really be successful in whichever type of intermittent fasting you're choosing to explore. So I'd like to move to a couple of the benefits. I wrote them down because there's huge lists of benefits and I didn't want to miss any of them. I want to give you all of them. So one of the benefits to intermittent fasting is that it absolutely resets your immune system. And some research shows that if you fast on water alone, and I say with electrolytes, for 3 days, you can basically have a brand new immune system. That's incredible. That's absolutely phenomenal. Your body is so amazing. It's designed to regenerate and rejuvenate so quickly. It's like a miracle. And in this day of stressful pandemic, fear-based stuff on social media, to me it was really empowering to learn, hey, 3 days, I can do just about anything for 3 days. And you can not only reset, but basically create a brand new immune system. Super duper cool. So I wanted to share that with you. And next, Decreasing inflammation. Inflammation is all over the internet too. People are always talking about inflammation. It's a real tag word in the healthcare industry. And every single disease pattern has an inflammatory component. In fact, subclinically, when we look at your labs, we can find out if you have subclinical inflammation before you have a diagnosable disease, which is pretty cool in terms of prevention. Well, intermittent fasting has been scientifically shown to decrease inflammation, which means ultimately you are doing prevention. You are preventing disease patterns from either taking hold or getting worse. So if you currently have symptoms or have a diagnosable disease and feel inflamed, intermittent fasting may be the right choice for you. Next, intermittent fasting improves insulin resistance. Now, this is huge. This is another, I chose some key words that people may be hearing. You may be hearing quite often in the internet or on social media. People are talking about insulin resistance quite a bit. And insulin resistance can lead to diabetes. And there are different kinds of diabetes. Some forms of diabetes are not due to insulin resistance. They're due to some other challenges. So I'm just going to focus on insulin resistance because intermittent fasting can really shift that picture because it sensitizes your cells to insulin again. Super cool. So let me tell you what insulin resistance is in case you're like, I don't get it. It's super easy to understand. So imagine you have a blood cell here. Or a cell, this cell here, and here's your bloodstream. And when you eat food, if you eat carbohydrates, it becomes glucose. We'll call that blood sugar. So there's sugar in your bloodstream. This is normal. But sugar in your bloodstream should not stay there very long because it can be toxic and it can damage your tissues and damage your nervous system, your nerves. And so your body is designed to do this amazing thing, which is shuttle the sugar from your blood into the cell that you need, because that cell is going to use that sugar for energy if you're eating carbohydrates. Another story if you're not. And so guess what helps blood sugar come into the cell? Insulin. Insulin acts as like a gatekeeper. And it opens the door for sugar from your blood to come into the cell to give it energy. Now, insulin resistance means that the door doesn't open, that your cell won't let insulin attach to it to open the door to let the sugar in. It says, I don't like you anymore. I'm not going to let you in. I'm not going to let you let the sugar in. And when this happens, there are some symptoms. One key symptom that you don't have to go to a lab to get tested for is to look at your belly. And if you have belly fat, you likely have some degree of insulin resistance. It's also called metabolic syndrome. Now, I said some degree because there are multiple stages of progression of insulin resistance. And maybe I'll do another Facebook Live more on that. For now, I want to focus on intermittent fasting being a very, very simple tool that may be right for you to kickstart your metabolism and resensitize your cells to insulin so that it can properly shuttle sugar into the cell out of your bloodstream where it belongs. Hi, Christina. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Some other benefits of fasting, of intermittent fasting. Often people will lose weight. Instead of lose weight, I'm going to say they're going to release weight. They're going to shed weight that they may have been carrying. And this is really a huge benefit. Now, remember, when you do this, if it's right for you, and again, please talk to a healthcare provider. Please reach out to me. I'm happy to guide you and empower you. If this is right for you and you do it, how you break the fast is very important so that you don't gain a bunch of the weight back. Now, some of the weight you're going to lose or release is water weight. but because it also stimulates your metabolism, it can be of huge benefit if you are carrying excess weight. To have your metabolism stimulated can be a huge game changer for you. So you're going to basically start to train your body to burn through fat for fuel instead of sugar and carbohydrates. And this ties into my first book, Holistic Keto for Gut Health, where I do talk about a different version of a ketogenic nutritional plan for releasing weight, but more importantly, for healing your gut and balancing your immune system. So you can go to guthappyketo.com, my website, to find that book. You can also go to Amazon and learn more about that. Also, intermittent fasting is another way it impacts your immune system, and another way it impacts your metabolism is that it gives your digestion a break. So you don't have to process food for a short time. And giving your digestive system a break helps you repair it. It helps your tissue regenerate even faster. This is huge in resetting your immune system and your metabolism to give your gut a break. Next, it increases longevity. Now that's pretty cool. So often I teach that food is medicine, and we need to bring in micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are a bunch of plant-based foods, and the macronutrients are the carbohydrates, the fats, and the proteins. And we need to bring certain balances in depending on our bodies and our constitution and our lifestyle and our biochemistry. We bring these in, and food is medicine. It can be very therapeutic. And so I also want to offer that caloric restriction can be very therapeutic and create more longevity in your life because of how it decreases inflammation. Also, intermittent fasting reduces oxidative stress, the damage from free radicals. It brings down the free radical count in your body and how much damage it is doing in several ways. One is because you're resting your digestive system and restoring it, and that can amplify that effect. Okay, next, there's so much more. It improves your hunger. And I've heard on Facebook recently that people are having the munchies because they're at home a lot more than usual. And so they're reaching for more food and they're feeling a little soft around the middle. And they're feeling that maybe the boredom is being translated into hunger. It's not a real need for nutrients. It's a need for entertainment. And this is okay. There's no shame in it. But what I want to empower you with is to heighten your awareness. And intermittent fasting may really help cravings and hunger and even boredom, because it'll help refocus your mind and your body, your immune system, in a different way. Next, I want to share how it increases brain function. Okay, we have this opportunity to be at home right now. And at home, we're in a more controlled environment. And so if we're out and about and we're very busy, we may not always notice that our brain is a little bit lagging. We may forget where the car keys are. You know, we may forget, oh, where are the kids' lunchbox? Oh my gosh, where's that report for work? This can happen. But when we're at home in a controlled environment, we have an opportunity to work with our mind and our brain in a different way and really track the results. So that then when the pandemic is over and you're back out in the world, you'll feel the difference right away. So it improves your brain by boosting a certain protein called brain-derived neurotrophin factor. And when you boost this, it really, really, really does improve brain function. All right. Another benefit of intermittent fasting is increased levels of human growth hormone. Now, increased levels of human growth hormone doesn't just sound cool. It actually is really, really beneficial to your body. Human growth hormone is very important for tissue repair. Excuse me. So you could actually leave this isolation period healthier than when you came in. So not only does it repair tissue in your organs, it also offers brain tissue repair. And when we're stressed, and when we're drinking pots of coffee, and when we're doing other stimulants, and we're maybe eating on the go, or we're just reaching for fast food, all of our body suffers, but especially our brain. And the brain and the gut are so connected. The gut is called our second brain. So anything we can do to repair the tissue of our brain and our gut is a win for me. And intermittent fasting has been proven to do that. It can also, this human growth hormone also helps build and maintain muscle. And who doesn't want to burn fat and build muscle? Personally, I do. And a lot of the patients I work with do. And I'm guessing many of you would like that. To just naturally, even in your sleep, be burning fat and stimulating muscle repair and muscle growth. So Cindy is chiming in and she's saying, not for autoimmune conditions. Well, Cindy, that's partially true. So I have an autoimmune condition and I do well with intermittent fasting to a certain degree. So at the beginning of the Facebook Live, I was speaking to individualizing this. So Cindy, there are certain kinds of intermittent fasting that may be really good for someone with an autoimmune disease, but it needs to be individualized according to that person's biochemistry, their symptoms, their blood sugar, their insulin sensitivity, their hydration, how they process electrolytes, their environment, their chemical exposures, the condition of their gut. All of these things are very important factors when someone has an autoimmune condition. The cool thing, Cindy, that you may or may not have heard is that in 3 days of fasting, if it's right for you, you reset the immune system and you basically have a brand new immune system, which is so worth saying again because it's scientifically proven. And for someone with an autoimmune disease, if intermittent fasting is good for them, it can halt an autoimmune disease in its tracks because you are resetting the immune system and it can stop the attack on your tissue. So it's got to be individualized. It may or may not be right for you, Cindy, or for someone with an autoimmune disease, but sometimes even short periods of fasting, even if it's not 3 days, 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, can make a huge difference with someone who has an autoimmune disease and a lot of symptoms. And it helps repair your gut. And the gut is the throne of your immune system. And if you have a healthy, repaired gut, it is less likely you will continue to experience an autoimmune disease and those symptoms, and you can go into remission. So this has been really fun. Let me just check my notes. I want to make sure that I've given you everything I have in terms of the benefits of fasting. I've covered a lot of things, free radical damage. Ooh, here's another one. There is some science that shows that certain types of intermittent fasting can starve cancer cells. Again, talk to your doctor, talk to your holistic healthcare providers, do your homework, make sure it's right for you. But in some cases, intermittent fasting can be an incredible therapy if you have the symptoms of cancer. And there are many different nutritional plans that can also be beneficial if you have the symptoms of cancer. And I go into this briefly in my first book, Holistic Keto for Gut Health. So if you're curious about that, you can pick up that book on Amazon. You can look on my website and find other places to buy that book. So I'll share my website. It's guthappyketo.com, guthappyketo.com. Please feel free to reach out with your questions, and I'm here to empower and inspire you in this time of isolation. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow on Facebook Live right here. Be well and have a blessed day. Bye for now.